Hey everyone, it's Amy. I'm so happy you could join me tonight. I've been super excited to bring all this information to you from Utah. So it's overwhelming. Let me just say. Well, I guess no, not really. It's exciting, and by default, it feels overwhelming because it kind of changes the game on some things. So I'm going to share a ton of information with you. I'm recording this so that you can go back and listen to it and pull in the things specific to you. But as always, if you have questions, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. So I am going to share my screen. So give me a moment to get this set up. All right. And then hopefully you guys can see my screen. And I'm going to have to switch. Okay. So we should be all set up now. And the way I've set this up is in understanding these new products, it has really come to my attention that there's some primary themes that are in alignment here. And so it's less about the products and much more around the most common health challenges that a lot of people are dealing with this year. And these aren't new. When I show them to you, you're going to be, well, I've been dealing with that for years. But I feel like we've got tangible solutions now to help with these. So it again, that's where I kind of feel like it's, wow, this is big and overwhelming. And how do I put this in as bite-sized pieces as possible so that it's meaningful to you and you can figure out where you need to take it in your own health? Okay. So as always, I like to start with the hello. If you don't know me, I think everyone here does know me though. Um, and the reason I do what I do with doTERRA, number one, I think they're a great company, but I work with a lot of great companies in my apothecary. And a lot of this is because I do believe that we should be empowered in our own health to take care of our own healthcare needs and have full information around what is going to help us, what could help us, and what could make things easier for us to heal. And we don't typically get this in traditional healthcare. Our healthcare system is broken, and that's no fault of anyone's. I think it's just deviated so far from what it was intended to be that now we have this over-engineered, complicated system, and it prevents a lot of us from just getting the care that we need. So my job, through the education I've gotten to become a practitioner, is that I feel like it's my job, my calling to help bring out better information to help you make choices for yourself. And the philosophy and methodology is at the heart of all that I provide to you, whether it's services or it's webinars like this. But I really do strive to be that resource for you when you've got questions and you're looking for a more natural option. I feel like I can help with a lot of these things and have resources to help you get information to make choices for yourself and your family. So now that you know who I am, which again, I think most of you already knew me, there's 4 common health trends that are very prevalent in 2023. And number 1 is we are not sleeping. And we're not sleeping and we don't have good quality of sleep, which leads to just a lot of problems in our health, from weight gain, inflammation, brain fog, joint pain, just all kinds of things. And it's derived from stress and not getting enough sleep. The other thing is, and this is no surprise to anyone either, our environment, including our homes, the places we just go outside to be, our workplaces, our churches, everywhere we go is full of toxins, chemicals, and there's constant threats to our immune system that is also causing problems in our health. And this can be, leading to things like fatigue and heavy metal toxicity and even diseases and pain. So again, this is not new. We've talked a lot about toxicity when you work with me, right? And you get a lot of it in the vault. Third is our food system is horrible. Whoa. and it's getting worse, not better. So we've got a lot of lab and processed food ingredients that are reducing the quality and access to real food. There's additives in there that are causing hormone problems. We're starved for vitamins and minerals despite being overweight, which is super, super scary. And, I guess what's shocking to me is that after 40 plus years, there's finally acknowledgement that things like aspartame are bad for us. Well, duh, it is. So we have just really lost our connection to food, and it's driven a lot of health problems that wouldn't otherwise exist. Now, lastly, and I think in some ways these other three problems are related to it, but our digestive system. You can't find a person in a crowd that does not have at least one digestive problem, whether that's they're gluten sensitive, they constantly have IBS, there's some other kind of thing going on with their digestive system. But I promise, and you may be the person, but I promise you cannot walk down the street without finding someone who has a digestive problem. And these are so common that we really don't have good answers for them. We think it's just things we have to live with. And it's so unfortunate because that's just not the case. So most of us do ignore these problems because maybe we went to the doctor and they gave us some prescriptions and it worked for a while and then it didn't work. And we just kind of ignore it and we put up with it, right? Until a bigger health problem comes along. And we're led to believe there's nothing we can do about it until this problem creates such a barrier to things that we want to try and do in our everyday life, right? Until it becomes a showstopper, basically, we're led to believe there's just nothing to do about it and go about your business until you can't anymore. And as you read my intro, that's certainly not what I believe is possible in the human body, and it's certainly not how we were designed to live. We deserve better. So some stats that should really concern all of us, right, is not, we have increasingly spent the majority of each day indoors and on our bottoms. We are not going outside. Our children are not going outside to play. We spend so little of our time each day indoors. It's absolutely scary. And I didn't realize, I'm guilty of this too, by the way. Since I've worked at home and stopped traveling, how little I am outside. And I love being outside. So when I saw this stat, I was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense because sometimes, it'll be dark before I get off work and I haven't been outside all day. And it's depressing, which leads to the next point is depression and anxiety related disorders are among the most prescribed medications. And again, just like digestive problems, you can't walk down the street without someone having depressive or anxiety related problems and likely at least one medication they're prescribed to deal with that. Now, the other thing is ADHD diagnosis in children and children who are on IEP plans in their school. This is a growing epidemic in our country, and it's so sad. ADHD is not always an easy problem to fix, but there's some underlying things that result in leading to ADHD symptoms and behaviors that come about that are simple to implement. And how much of a difference would that make in a child's life? And you have to wonder how much of these other stats are contributing to this one too, right? So we are really in a horrible situation with our food and our lifestyle and other factors that are directly impacting our children. And that one scares me to death. Now, here's another one. You never used to hear about peanut allergies or gluten allergies or all these other special diets now because there's an allergy for something, right? Allergic and food sensitivities have increased a lot since the 90s. And the reason for that, again, kind of relates to that first slide I showed where we our food system's broken, and we're eating foods that are not really food, and it's destroying the body's ability to break down things, and it's causing problems like allergies. And allergies can be generationally inherited, right? You can have a whole lineage of your family that's allergic to eggs, for instance, right? So we're passing on these reprogrammed genes to our children and their children, and it's a result of behaviors that we are doing right now. And that too is just gives me pause. um, Now, the average American adult. Whew, can you even imagine over your lifetime what it would cost for 4 lifetime prescriptions? And I will tell you what those usually are. Number one is a statin for cholesterol. Number two is either a blood pressure medicine or some other type of related medication for the heart. And 2 and 3 is usually associated with depression, anxiety, behavioral, mental health, well-being, something of that nature. And the number 4 is sleep, a sleep pill. These are the 4 most common lifelong prescriptions people are taking. And not only does that cost a lot of money, but it's really demonstrating again kind of the purpose of why these 4 problems are not getting better, they're getting worse. And we're just covering a lot of it up with prescriptions instead of making the choices in our lifestyle and our diets that would really influence healing on a lot of these factors. And this last one drives it home. 2 and 3 Americans are not sleeping well, or certainly not sleeping enough. And there is a big contributing factor to our health as related to our sleep duration and quality. So, with all of that in mind, I want to talk about how doTERRA has recognized these problems and has proposed a solution. They've come up with support. I'm going to put it that way. They have come up with support to help lead us to a better way of recovering from these things, overcoming them as lifestyle things we're experiencing now, and helping us heal from the inside out. And when I show you this stuff, and I show you some of the information around it, I hope that you have the same reaction I did, because I didn't know what to think. And I at first kind of dismissed it as, why would we have products like this and not really have something bigger and shinier? But when you start tying it back to these 4 common problems I just went through with you, it really starts to give significance to why these products were specifically aligned to the situation that we're in. Okay. So let's start with some basics. Number 1, this is a natural health wellness pyramid, and it shows you kind of the tiers of how to protect your health and where to build health, where it comes from, really. And it gives you kind of that map that says, if you do these things right in the lifestyle category, which is the 4 bottom tiers of this, then you need less and less of those top 2 tiers. And it doesn't mean that you'll never need to go see a doctor, because you may. It doesn't mean you may never have a prescription, because you may. But if you do the other things right, you influence how much, how devastating, how expensive, how complicated your potential medical care and self-informed care actually end up being. You have a lot of influence over your health. And this diagram really explains it well, to how we can reduce our healthcare costs, improve our health overall, and actually just feel better. How about just that, right? And I think we miss that a lot, right? Yes, healthcare is expensive. I've worked in healthcare for over 35 years. I can promise you it is expensive for everybody. I can promise you that some of the diseases that we see that just financially bankrupt families, some of that's unavoidable and it's in unfortunate circumstances. A lot of it comes down to these 4 bottom tiers and what we do about them that greatly influences our health. And I think doTERRA has done a good job at aligning their products to each of these tiers to help us maximize the benefits that we can realize through making lifestyle changes that really influence the end game in terms of our health care overall. Now, to that end, these are the new products, and they are specifically aligned to those 4 problem areas that I reviewed at the beginning. Okay. And this is why I feel like it was such a game changer when I finally connected and realized, oh my goodness, they are hitting a home run. They have figured this out, that we are just discounting our health because we have been told there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the way it is. And I love that they too realize, like I do as a practitioner, there is a different way. We can do better for ourselves. So I'm going to run through these products and give you a lot of information around them. Feel free to pause if you're watching on replay, get the notes you need. But more than anything, I want you to ask questions of me and really align on how these could help you when you think about your sleep, your diet, your toxic levels in your life, and your overall well-being in how we improve our lifestyle. So number 1 is birch. Now, if you caught my video last week, I was so excited in Utah that I finally got my hands on some new birch because I had been out, and the only way you could ever get birch oil was through the doTERRA convention, being out there live. It paid for itself to go out there just to get this oil because it's that good. Well, lo and behold, they came out, and birch is a permanent product. All of us can buy it when we need it and have it available. Here's the beautiful part. It is sourced the original way to source birch oil that is not practiced anywhere else anymore because it's an old way to do it, and it preserves the tree. It's done in Pennsylvania on a family farm in Pennsylvania. And that was so awesome to hear, right? We've got a local farmer in the eastern region of this country who has birch trees growing on his family farm of over 100 years. And he is working only with doTERRA and practicing the way to source this oil the way his grandfather and father before him all learned to do. That was a powerful story for me. Okay, but let's talk about birch. You need to have this oil. Number 1, it is incredible to use on your muscles. A lot of us are familiar with using Deep Blue, which I personally love that product. I use it a lot for pain. And I'm telling you, if you add a drop to birch with your Deep Blue, trust me, it's a wonderful feeling. It levels up that Deep Blue like nothing else I've experienced. And then also, if you, it's really good for odors, and it's really good for blemishes. This is a great oil. Now, these are just a couple of the ideas here. I'm getting ready to really reveal to you why I love this oil, because y'all know that I'm really mind, body, and spirit focused in health. And this oil, just like I said in that video last week, this oil is about emerging. And this has some really powerful properties to it that we owe some of our attention. So, birch is known as the oil of highest potential. It focuses us on our rebirth, emergence, and becoming who we were meant to be. And often those things get blocked because life gets to us, number 1, and we end up with fear. We're worried, we're scared, we don't think we can do it. All of those things can hold us back mentally, physically, and even in our spiritual journey. Birch helps us by aromatically and topically working through some of those energy blocks. It's a really beautiful process. And it helps us align with our natural courage. Now, my dear, dear friends know this, that I have a little card. I've had it for darn near 20, 30 years almost. I think it's been 30 now. But the word courage, each letter in that has a significant meaning. And I've even given it to some of you guys when I've known you've gone through the trials and tribulations of life. I've made you a copy of this card and shared it with you because it's that powerful for me. Well, birch oil works so darn well with that partnership of courage. And I speak from personal experience going through it. So it does help with connecting to your ancestral wisdom, which when you're really going through those tough situations in life, sometimes a little wisdom is exactly what you need, right? And it really helps us release grudges and emotional baggage, which again, it's huge for your mental well-being, right? Okay. Now, birch, if you've worked with me before and you've gotten your facial analysis, you know what element you are in the traditional Chinese element chart. If your element is earth, or one of your dominant features is earth, birch is your oil. That is your spirit animal in oil form, okay? And if you're one of my crystal friends, the frequency that matches birch is manganocalcite, okay? And I'm telling you, if you really match these up to these elements, it like it's like turning up your radio super loud to your favorite song, right? Where everything just is all consuming and you feel in your element. That's what I'm talking about here when I talk about your frequency and this oil. Now, one little fun fact, I love this one. This is actually a Scottish tradition that I learned about with birch oil, is that women, particularly the wise women in villages, would use birch branches and the aroma of birch on their brooms during the winter solstice. And they would sweep out their house. They would sweep it out. And you've heard about leaving the door open and letting the bad stuff out, right? Especially in the new year and stuff like that. Well, that's what they were doing with their brooms. And it would take away darkness, cold, diseases, and anything unwanted. And they did that with birch. And if you look up above where I talk about the releasing of, things that don't feel good to us, releasing baggage, releasing grudges, limiting beliefs, all those things, this ancient use lines up perfect, does it not? So this is a great oil. This is one that you might not use it every day, but I promise if you're going through stress, which who doesn't have a little bit of that, this oil is your best friend. And here's some other ways that you can use it. Now, because of your participation in this webinar, I've got a little ebook that's got some additional recipes for you, including a hair serum, which I have personally used on my hair since I've gotten more of this oil. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. Okay, I encourage you to try it. It feels incredible and it smells so good on your hair. But here's some additional ways you can use it. But in the ebook you get, there will be specific protocols and recipes that you can use your birch oil for. And all of you are getting a copy of it. It'll be in your email box, along with another little secret surprise I will reveal to you in just a teeny little bit. Okay? All right, let's talk about a real key difference here. Birch and wintergreen, two different trees, but they are aromatically similar. And people will either really love birch or they will really love wintergreen. It's usually one or the other. The thing is, there's one ingredient, one compound that is different between those two oils. And how a person responds to it really influences which one they align better to. And those of you who've worked with me before, you know the story of lavender, that some people with PTSD can't use lavender because it triggers negative in their system versus positive. And the same thing will happen with the birch or wintergreen, is that you will find you may like one more than the other. And you need to honor that because that's your body's alignment to the terpenes and phenols that are within each of these oils. So, there's an old saying that says if it doesn't appeal to you in aroma, it's something you need when it comes to essential oils. That's not true. That's usually your body telling you that whatever it is you're smelling, and in this case, birch or wintergreen, then you can use its partner oil and have a much more effective experience. The point of aromatherapy is not to make you miserable. It is not that if birch smells awful to you, you got to just work through that until it smells okay. No, we don't do that. Okay. We go to the partner. The beauty of essential oils is there are lots of options, and there will be one in the tree family that works best for you. And what we have found, though, is that birch and wintergreen are one of those love it or hate it ones on either one of these, but they're so similar. And the only difference is one is terpene higher and one is phenol base higher. And it changes how it responds in the body. So never force yourself. If something smells stinky or bad to you, then don't do it. There's another one that will work just as well, and it's perfect for you. Now, some other key things to know about birch essential oil. Most birch essential oil, in fact, all of it, I'm not even going to say most birch essential oils, the aromas is a wintergreen fragrance, or it's made from expired aspirin with fragrance added to it. Now, that should be very disturbing to you. The reason why this is such a big deal and why this oil is so hard to get is that there wasn't a pure source that existed until we found this farm in Pennsylvania. And this family agreed to only work with doTERRA to produce it. So we do finally have the first ever 100% pure birch oil that is available for us to use in our health. Okay. All right, moving on. Do I have any Virgin River book or show fans watching this? Guys, if you haven't watched the last season, the latest season that just came out, and I'm talking specifically about episodes 6 through 8, which, by the way, I watched on my flight to and from Utah. That's why I can say this. I don't want to spoil it for you, but when you watch these episodes in the latest season that is out, what I'm getting ready to tell you is going to turn light bulbs on for you. When you see what I'm talking about in the show, in those episodes, you're going to go, I know all about that because Amy Kramer told me about that in that webinar, and it's going to be awesome. Okay. I'm laying it out there now. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. There's an oil blend that doTERRA came out with called Shinrin Yuku, and it's called the Forest Bathing Blend. This is a blend that was specifically based on the Japanese practice of forest bathing. And forest bathing, they have specific areas all through Japan that were intentionally designed to help you go out into the woods and find that balance within your soul, connect with nature, reclaim your sense of center. And I'm thinking of a very specific friend who I know loves the Colorado mountains. That's his happy place. We all know it's his happy place. And I'm telling you, this forest bathing blend replicates that experience in aroma. Okay. And the science that I'm getting ready to show you about this oil, it's going to blow your mind. Diffusing this oil alone is so transforming. And I have not seen any other oil that I've worked with in the last 10 years show me things that this oil has already shown me. This is incredible. And it was specifically designed by Dr. Hill, who is one of the founders of doTERRA. He's the one who created On Guard. He came up with this oil. And I gotta tell you, he nailed it. He nailed it. Okay, so for Shinrin-yoku means bathing, forest bathing. Okay, that's what that word means in Japanese. It's the act of immersing yourself in the atmosphere of the forest and connecting with its essence. And having never been to Japan, I've seen videos of people doing this, and the Virgin River episode reference, you're going to know spot on what I'm talking about when you see it. If you use this oil at nighttime, you apply it to your body, you diffuse it in your bedroom, it has been shown clinically to rebalance your cortisol and your melatonin levels. And that's important because a lot of times why we don't sleep or we're stressed out is because our cortisol and our melatonin levels are imbalanced. Now, the other thing, I mean, you thought it just smelled good, right? Which it does. It's really, I love this one. It's also been shown to improve our stress imprint, our responses to stress. It's been shown to reduce our blood pressure and our inflammatory response markers. And it helps you recover from stress through this aroma therapy that you can get with this oil. Again, oils have some really important physical and mental and spiritual properties to them. This oil is unlike anyone that I have seen or worked with before. And we have one called Spanish sage that is mimicked from monks who use it for meditation. And I get a lot of benefit from using that in my own meditation. This oil, next level. I mean, I'm telling you, this Shinrin-yoku oil, I just, it's life-changing. So let me show you the science behind it, because this is cool stuff. A doTERRA clinical study they did on this oil. Okay, they had a bunch of participants who got the oil and they got a placebo group going. After one night of diffusion, average cortisol levels were lower than their baseline when they started. After 3 nights of diffusion, they were even lower than the baseline. We're talking about cortisol. We're talking about the inflammation, the hormone that gives you inflammation, the thing that gives you burnout, the thing that depletes your adrenals. This oil is lowering those. Several participants in this clinical study had a change in their inflammation just from diffusing this oil. And they had an increased natural killer cell count and function, which is a mark of health. Their blood pressure readings in the mornings were decreased. I'm telling you, if there was ever an oil that performed to this level, I'm not familiar with it. This one has blown them all away. This is the result of one person who spoke up at a convention. He was part of the study, and he shared his specific numbers. As you can see, his blood pressure went down 30 points from 1 week of diffusing and using this oil. His blood pressure went down 30 points. These are numbers that I'm simply blown away with. Look at his cortisol. He had a 40% cortisol drop in a week. Okay. His lymphocyte, which is your white blood cell count, right? He had improvements there. I mean, these are incredible numbers, and it's all from smelling an oil. Can you imagine? I'm going to show you my own information here in a little while associated with this and another product I'm getting ready to talk about. But these numbers from a clinical trial are impressive. So for that reason alone, it caught my attention that this was something special. Okay, another new product that doTERRA has been working on for a very long time, we've gotten sneak peeks of it here and there, is called Blue Lotus. And Again, one of the founders of the company, this is one of her absolute favorite oils, but it was very difficult to get, and just the amount of adulteration and products that are out there made it very difficult to find a pure source. So here too, they have come up with a specific farm in Japan where this is sourced and specifically grown for doTERRA. Now, this oil has some superpowers as well. And it is the oil of emerging. So it has some of the properties that we saw with the Shinru Yoku blend. It is also an oil that helps you energetically rise above fear and face tough things. It helps you divert negative energy from others, right? If someone's talking bad about someone, right, and it bothers you, this helps you not absorb that negative energy. It's an oil that tells you can rise above and be stronger beyond any hardship. And it's a really good oil for you to remember who you are. So it's got that life purpose undertone to it. Now, it is a water lily. So guess what? It's aligned to the traditional Chinese medicine element of water. And that makes sense, right? In fact, all of your flower oils are usually associated with water. There are some that aren't, but majority of them are associated with water. Your crystal frequency alignment. So the energy alignment of this oil matches that of star sapphire and tanzanite. And both of those are very healing crystals. Again, they kind of help repel negativity, and they help you feel more confident in your own skin and navigating tough, adverse situations. Now, here's some fun facts about this particular lotus flower, is that it's been medicinally used in Egyptian medicine over 3,000 years ago. You're going to find it in some of the old scripts of, the Piper's Papers and stuff like that, right? This was a serious one. It used to grow along the Nile, and just over time, the over harvesting of this plant, it doesn't grow there natively anymore. But at one time, it was very prevalent, and it's what they used for medicine. Now, it has also been linked to the Indian religions that believe in reincarnation. This is an aroma that's often used in those religious practices and belief systems. Okay, this one might surprise you. Why am I talking about toothpaste when I'm talking about these major health issues? And like I said, this is where I said in the beginning about, at first it didn't seem like all that in a bag of chips, but when you really break it down, there's some honest, good stuff in here that we need to pay attention to. So we have an oil called Supermint, and it's great for digestion, minty breath freshener kind of business. Well, they've taken that and turned it into a toothpaste. And what's beautiful about this is that we already have a toothpaste with On Guard in it, which I personally use every day. It's fabulous. But the Supermint is actually really good for sensitive teeth. Now, my husband has very sensitive teeth, and he didn't like the On Guard toothpaste. So when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, I got him now. We are not going to have any more crust in our house. He is not getting no more crust sensitive toothpaste. He's getting some Supermint. And we've tried it. I actually like the taste of it. He does too. And it's really good for sensitive teeth. So there you have it. Now, again, we do have the two toothpaste options, and I think they're both really incredible. Now, here's the fun thing about why this is a big deal. Toothpaste, including a lot of natural branded toothpaste, have ingredients that are bad for us. Fluoride is a big one. Whenever a toothpaste says not to swallow it, that tells you it has chemicals in it. Okay? These two toothpastes don't have that. if you're using them with children, particularly, and you try to explain to a child, don't swallow the toothpaste, and they all do, you don't have to worry about that with these. Okay. It doesn't have the toxic chemicals, so it doesn't require the warning label that says, don't swallow this, it's got chemicals in it. Isn't that great? I'm seriously, and even your Burt's Bees toothpaste has that warning label on it. I haven't checked Tom's in a while, but some of these other brands, you really gotta read the label. And if it says not recommended to be swallowed or avoid swallowing, that's your clue. It's got chemicals. And so when you use a pure natural toothpaste, guess what? It doesn't add toxicity chemicals to your body. And that was one of our big common themes that we talked about in the beginning. The reason why we are so not feeling our best and we're not feeling good is because of all the chemicals in and around us all the time. Well, here's one less area we have to worry about that happening. So it's a good thing. Now, let's talk about this. How well do you sleep? And I know someone who's going to watch this, and I know she says she does not sleep worth a darn all the time. And we have this idea that we'll sleep when we're dead, or I don't need that much sleep. I promise you, you do. If you're getting anything less than 7 hours of sleep a night, you're sleep deprived. Okay. Your body cannot adequately do the work it needs to do to detox and repair and clear out all the stuff in your body in under 7 hours. It is not possible. That's not how you were designed. So, unfortunately, a lot of people, 2 in 3 Americans, are not getting enough sleep, and we're not getting good quality sleep. And that leads to problems, right? Here's 4 of them right here. We tend to have brain fog. We tend to start having memory cognitive problems. We start making poor decisions. We're quick to anger. And if you are low on your sleep, you're impacting your immune system, which is then causing toxic exposure problems. This is also where we see a lot of hormone imbalances, right? Hormone imbalances are like a big thing for a lot of people, and they're always blaming their hormones, but what they really should be blaming is their lack of sleep. Okay? Your hormones and sleep go together. They are best friends. So if you're not sleeping well, then your hormones aren't working well. It's just how it is. Your hormones are nothing more than little messengers, and when you're not honoring them with what they need to, communicate to you, then they just get louder. That's their job. So start with sleep. Okay. Let's answer their call and take a nap. Let's get some sleep. And then obviously lack of sleep leads to sleepiness during the day, risk taking, impaired driving. We've seen the videos, right? If you don't sleep, it's the equivalent of driving drunk. And the way I see a lot of people driving, yep, we got a lot of sleepy head, sleep drunk drivers out there. So we know it's a problem and we joke about it, right? Well, we got to fix that. The doTERRA Serenity Sleep System. Now you're like, oh my gosh, Amy, we already had Serenity Oil, we already had Serenity Soft Gels, but there's some changes here. The Serenity, which I have always called lavender's big sister, because that's what it is. It's got a lot of lavender and a lot of other friends in that bottle, is improved to help you sleep. And I'm going to show you the scientific facts behind it. The soft gels have been upgraded to include tart cherry, which has been, it's a great supplement. In fact, I've had Scott on it since his heart surgery, but it's a really good supplement that helps relax the system. And it is an excellent add-on to enforcing our body's ability to heal so it can sleep. And then we got this cute little fun stick that has Serenity plus valerian in it. And anyone who knows herbs, all my herb friends, know valerian is very relaxing and is one of the herbs you use to promote relaxation and sleep. So combined all together, you have this really nifty sleep system that is a game changer when we talk about quality and duration of sleep. So there's 3 primary genes associated with sleep, and I picked out this one because it had really big significance in terms of what I typically see with I work with a lot of you. Here's the deal: this LRP5 gene, and you have it in your DNA. This is the gene that's responsible for a lot of stuff going on in your body, including glucose metabolism, sleep quality, your eyesight, your blood pressure to your eye and ear, your bone density. Okay, this is a super important gene. When you use the Serenity system, look at what that chart says. LRP5 expression was significantly increased in healthy people using the sleep system. That's a good thing. That means you're improving your cellular development, which influences your tissues and your muscles and your everything that functions around your body. Your eyesight doesn't get worse. Yay. Your blood pressure to your eye and ear improves. Your bone density regulation improves. Your glucose management balancing improves. Your sleep quality improves. Win, win, win. Okay. Like I said, there were 2 other genes that were specifically mentioned in this, but this one really stood out. And it was the result of just using this sleep system. And I'm going to show you how to use it. And we're going to walk through what each of these are in case you're not familiar with them. So let's talk with Serenity first. Again, this is an oil that we've had a while. The ingredients are listed there. I specifically nicknamed this one Lavender's Big Sister. That's what it will forever be known for in my head. This is lavender with doTERRA, sourced from Bulgaria. It has a very floral scent to it. And simply putting it on the bottom of your feet is a beautiful thing. This is such a nice little oil. We've had it for a long time, and it is very helpful in terms of relaxation. I've used it in yoga classes. I've used it to sleep. I've used it just to be happier. I've used this oil a lot. The soft gels. Again, we've had soft gels for a long time, but this one is upgraded with the tart cherry. The other ingredients are the same. Again, the lavender comes from Bulgaria, but this is specifically to help you relax. Okay. It's not a sleeping pill, but it promotes the ability of the body to relax and start triggering on that melatonin production to help us sleep. Okay. And you don't wake up in the fog. You don't wake up with a druggy sleeping pill situation. Scott uses this a lot, and I use it periodically, but I'm getting ready to change that, and I'm going to show you why here in a little bit. Now, this new stick with the valerian in it, this is pretty incredible, guys. So I've been using this on the bottom of my feet. It smells just like Serenity. And I got to tell you, the first time I used it, I was out. Like, I felt myself going to sleep because I thought, okay, I'm gonna put this on, and then I'm gonna play on my phone a little while before I get tired. It wasn't 10 minutes and girlfriend was out. And I mean, I was out. So I attest that I tried it, and yes, this one works. So when you try it with everything, it's really incredible. Now, again, in the ebook I'm sending you, it's going to have specific protocols for this. Okay. But basically, what it runs down to is that you diffuse the oil or apply it to your body, wrist points, that sort of thing. You apply the stick, bottom of the feet, back of the neck, all the good places, and you take the soft gels. Okay. It's a 3-step process. It's really easy. And I'm getting ready to show you why it works. Okay. Clinical study that doTERRA did on these products. They had 20 participants. Some took placebo, some took the sleep system. These were the categories that each person was asked to rank before and after. Okay. So the dark purpley line is the before, the light purple line is the after. You can see that there was improvements in all areas except for discomfort and sadness. And this was after a really short clinical trial. But while all areas didn't improve, what this means is that there were significant improvements in the overall quality of life in the major categories that we often experience every day, right? So there were a lot of good results that came out of this one. Happiness. Oh my goodness, right? Well enough for social activities. Now, how often, and I'm guilty of this, how often do you get off work? You don't want to talk to anyone, you don't want to be around anyone, you just want to watch Netflix and go mind numb. Okay, this one actually showed improvement that you were engaging with other people. You were wanting to be in social activities, right? There's an improvement there. I think this is all very positive. Here's the other one. Same group of people. This one showed improvements in all major task areas that they measured, and pretty significant improvements in all of them, right? I mean, look at that concentration one. Seriously, who doesn't need more concentration? And I'm thinking of a very special friend that I hope she's watching this, because the brain fog thing and the ability to concentrate could be related to sleep. But in all areas, there was improvement. And in terms of how hard something was that people do every single day. It's a great, great result from this clinical trial. Now, let me show you the best one at all, because those are really fascinating, but wait till I pop this next one on. Look at this. Before the clinical trial that these people did, okay, look at that, right? And then look at the after. They were burning, on average, 500 more calories a day. They took almost 3,000 steps more a day, and they were 2 times more active. And they all wore the fitness trackers, right? This is straight from their fitness trackers. So, as you can see, what this tells you is that the sleep system showed good results in not only improving sleep, but what came afterwards was more activity, feeling more motivated to do something. Now, the reason I point this out is because how often do we have struggled to get up in the morning to do a workout, or after work, we're too tired to do a workout? Would this not be a game changer there? And I'm going to tell you from my own experience doing it, you don't hit that snooze button. I have not hit snooze one time since I started using this. I actually wake up, I feel good, and I'm ready to go. And I've only been using it for a few days. This is my Garmin fitness tracker that I wear every day. And I want you to look at my numbers. This is my body battery. So Garmin has this measurement where they take basically your stress, your sleep, and they formulate a score. And you see my body battery, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was in Utah. Sunday, I was in Utah, flying home. And those are about my average scores all the time. Okay, Sunday night when I got home and I unpacked, I used the Serenity Sleep System, all of it, all 3 of them, for the first time. Look at my scores. Like, this is Monday that just happened. Look at Tuesday. I can't say in all the time I've had my Garmin fitness band, I've ever had 100% on my body battery. Okay. Never. And today, it's Wednesday, I've got a 60. I mean, that's still an incredible score for me compared to the 20 and 13. So this works. And I can tell you my step count has increased. But I think the most impressive for me was this body battery score. And I think if I track the other things, those other categories that came from their clinical study, I feel pretty certain that I would have improvements in a lot of those areas too. And I literally just pulled this snapshot from my phone about 20 minutes before this webinar. So this was, it didn't even occur to me to look at it until I was preparing to do this webinar with you guys. And I was like, well, you know what? It's been a couple days. Let me look at what my Garmin says, right? Because they use fitness trackers in their clinical study. Let me see what mine says. And I can tell you, I've thought forever my body battery metric was broken because I never got good scores, even when I felt like I slept well. So I don't know what to say about this. I mean, this is my own personal data, and the only change that I made was using this 3-step sleep system. So I encourage you guys to really take these numbers to heart and consider, even if you feel like you sleep well, how could your numbers be improved if you use the system as well? So yeah, I'm really curious to have some others weigh in on this and your experience on it as well. Okay, so to help you see that, I am going to host a Slumber Well challenge, and I'm going to run it for 30 days. The only requirement is that you purchase the Serenity sleep set and you log your experience, and I'll give some things away. I'm so interested in other people's results and how much my own will continue to improve that I feel like a group doing it together, we could really see some incredible changes in all of our sleep and our overall well-being. So if you're interested, I just got it set up today. So I didn't have time to put the link in the slide, but reach out to me. I'll send you the link and join me on this Serenity sleep protocol and see what happens. You really have nothing to lose. The Serenity sleep system will be available October 1. So you got time to order it, get it in, and do the Slumber Well challenge with me. Just reach out and I'll get you the link. Okay, switching gears somewhat. How's your digestive system? Remember, digestive system was one of the most common things. You can't walk down the street without someone having a digestive problem. Okay, how is yours? We know it's a problem for a lot of people, and we're ignoring this problem. We kind of live in pain with a lot of it and embarrassing situations. Okay. Contributing to our digestive problems is stress. Are you surprised? I'm not. Stress and leads to a lot of things. And if you read my newsletter Monday, you know, stress is a toxic chemical. And when you have stress, you're holding onto your body, you are naturally driven to process food, not sleeping well, not feeling your best. Your anxiety is through the roof. Your mental well-being kind of gets challenged. And all of that interrupts the microbiome, which influences your digestive system. And it really changes the bacteria, the good and the bad that's in your body. And it increases your cortisol, which significantly influences your digestive system and the inflammation that we have in our digestive system, which then results in these allergic reactions that we have to food, the food sensitivities, the IBS, the heartburn, the list goes on. Okay. And it's all a result of the body's struggle to be under that much stress all the time. And the problem is we're under so much stress all the time, we don't even realize the amount of stress we're under, which is really the problem. Then we just had that nice, lovely conversation about sleep. Well, stress is also linked in here, right, with sleep. And the lack of sleep is reducing our healthy microbes in the gut. And that leads to a negative impact on sleep. Okay. Your digestive system is connected to so many things in your body. And without protecting the good and the bad microbes in our digestive system, we're influencing our health. And at the very core of that, we're influencing our sleep. So it's all tied together, and you can't do one without the other. Now, doTERRA came out with a couple products. And again, at first I was like, what is this? We already have PB Assist. Works great. My son takes it all the time. Well, they've changed it. And the PB Restore and PB Assist are reformulated, and they support all of those major systems you see on the screen. There's 26 strains of prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic and bacteriophages in these products. And they're encapsulated in a way that they can get to where they need to go without being dissolved by the acidity in your stomach. And they are, wow, life-changing. Okay. Again, I've only used them for a couple of days, but already I see a difference. Now, I showed this chart in the vault of these comparison products because, and it caught my attention because I have tried the Plexus one, which is the blue tub of stuff. I've tried the gut food one. I think I've tried all of these, to be honest. And you see how it stacks up to the new PB Restore product, of what's in it and how what's not in it, I guess, is more important too. Because a lot of us have these sensitivities to things, and we are thinking that, okay, I'm taking a supplement, but yet I'm still having problems. But if you're, for instance, sensitive to dairy, well, a lot of these products have dairy in them, or they have gluten, or they have artificial sweetener, and that's not fixing the problem, it's making it worse. So a very insightful chart and pretty surprising. But I think what is the biggest thing here is look at the amount of strains that are in each one, and the genus in each one, and the species. There's not one out there that's commonly available that's going to get you more than this PB Restore product that they've come out with. Probiotics are the trendy new supplement. Everybody's taking one, and they're good for you. We need them. Our food system's horrible, so they are very helpful to us. But if we're taking one that isn't organic, and it's not capsulated to work in our body, or it doesn't contain the strains of probiotic that we need, then we're kind of wasting money. And this one targets all the major body systems, and it works. And it's set up in a way to navigate the digestive system to get you the pre, post, and probiotics to the right place where you need them to work. So they are double encapsulated. They do get to where they need to be. And the best time to take your probiotic is first thing in the morning, because that's when your acidity in your stomach is the lowest. Okay. Now, the PB Assist, again, we had PB Assist Junior, and it came in little sachets like this, and it tasted like watermelon, and it delivered 7 probiotic strains. As you can see, that's almost doubled in this new product, and it's good for the whole family. So your adults and teens, 1 sachet a day and 1 PB Restore a day if you were working on specific digestive problems. Children, half a sachet daily is enough for them. And it's still got that great melon, fruity taste to it, without any extra ingredients that you don't need in there. So, are you ready to change your health? Did this get you excited about why we need to address these 4 common problems in our health associated with sleep, toxicity in our environment, and the digestive system, and just not feeling good, right? We need to reclaim our health and get back to feeling our best every day. Of course, you can work with me. Any of my classes are usually free or for a nominal cost. You can work with me independently in your own holistic health consultation. My link is there. If you want to self-care through the doTERRA products we talked about tonight, most of them are going to be available October 1. And the link is there. You can click it and get your products. Please join me in the sleep study that I want to start in October. I think it'll be really insightful to help. And then if you're looking for additional supplements, the doTERRA does not carry. You will find them in my apothecary. The link's there. If you've not used doTERRA before, there is a special link you go through to the doTERRA site. You always get 25% off retail. You get free shipping. You get free gifts. And you earn doTERRA dollars, which you then can use for products of your choice. Now, those of you who have worked with me, you know I never buy my oils. I don't buy an oil. I get them free through my doTERRA dollars, and that's how I do it. I haven't bought an oil cash in a very long time. Check your email. All of you who participated in this are getting the ebook with the protocols and recipes, and you're getting the Serenity Sleep System brochure with instructions and complementary products that work with the system. Now, I want to thank you for being here. I think it's fabulous that you shared your time with me. I tried to move very quickly because there's a ton of information. And I just wanted you to have it so that you could make the best choices that you need to for your health. And I want to make sure that you get what you need to feel your best. If I can help you, please reach out to me and we'll talk again soon.